Hey y'all, and welcome back to our podcast. The topic of today's episode is self-sabotage. I'm trying something different. I'm not gonna do that much editing to this video.
Okay.
Or this audio. So
Sounds good.
here we go. Have you self-sabotaged?
Yes, I have.
When's the last time you self-sabotaged?
I mean, probably like yesterday. I don't know.
What's an example of you self-sabotaging?
So I do this thing where if I get bored in life and there's not enough commotion or excitement or just something going on, I find some trouble to get into.
Okay.
That could look different based off of like
The time.
I guess, yeah, like what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, what I feel like I need in the moment. And I'll just be like, okay, let me try to find a way to scratch that itch. So, I mean, something like texting an ex or posting a thirst trap.
You don't really do that. I don't even know why you even dropped that.
Well, I guess my main way of like posting a thirst trap is like posting a picture of myself.
You don't even post pictures like that. I think a good one of you is texting exes.
Yes.
Just men in general. Working out. You go back and forth with that. And if you're bored, you be like, I'm not even finna do this shit.
Fair.
And eating and spending money. Those are your things.
Yes.
The main thing is men, though.
Men and money. Spending money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now I'm getting a little bored. And so those things are coming back up a little bit. As far as the men, I've like dialed back. So I might like converse with them. But it's not like before. And my spending has increased currently.
Are you aware that you're self-sabotaging as you're doing it?
In a way, like, yes. Yes, because I feel like it.
Bitch, I'm dying.
You need some water?
No.
Okay. Yes, because I feel like it is. I guess yes and no. The generic.
Here you go with your yes and no's.
The generic answer is yes and no.
I'm gonna stop you. All y'all that actually listen, think about every single time you heard Jayana say yes or no.
Come on, don't come for me. Don't come for me. Like, what the hell?
It's your favorite thing to say.
Okay, so yes and no. I'm going to say my favorite thing. Yes, because I notice it and I'm like, I mean, I'm bored and then I'll like make up excuses or I'll be like, well, I don't normally spend money this and this time, or maybe I just haven't spent money in a few months. I don't travel nearly as much, so I save money with not traveling. So I'll just like kind of be like, I'm spending money now and it's okay, even though I probably shouldn't be spending as much as I'm spending.
So where does the no come in? Yes and no.
Because I'll be like, this is self-soothing, and it might take me a minute to like be like, oh, this is where I'm
So the reason why I just poked fun at you is because the answer is yes, obviously. And what you're saying is self-sabotage. So what you're calling self-soothing is self-sabotaging. You being like, I do this, but then I write it off like, yeah, bitch, that's the example of self-sabotage. So that's what you're doing. So it's not yes and no. It's just yes.
Okay.
But I'm saying that to say, I'm saying that because that's the point of this episode.
Not coming for me. Help.
Hey. You come for me.
Yeah. So those are like my main self-sabotaging ways and characteristics, and I am trying to be in a better space with that. And instead of me like spending money, like I'm trying to focus on like my physical appearance.
How do you think your self-sabotaging habits messes up your life or like exposes toxicity and behaviors in your life? How does it look bad in your life?
Because me self-sabotaging, some of my toxic traits come out with that. So like, again, like texting the ex. I mean, I should just leave that person alone instead of being like, hi, long time no talk. I just wanted to make sure you're okay, when it's really like, no, I just want you to show me some attention. Hello, bitch. Hi, bitch. Listen to me. Show me some attention. Tell me I'm cute. Tell me you miss me. Like, tell me something. Oh, oops. So, I don't care.
I'm bored.
Yep.
Break up with your girlfriend. I'm bored.
Exactly. Even though they don't have no girlfriend, so let's just...
No. But yes, they don't have any girlfriends.
Correct. I don't bother people when they're in relationships.
No.
But that's how it presents itself as, yeah, you shouldn't be doing this. And then like with the money, it's like, girl, you should be saving because you do have goals to reach, and you're not reaching them because you are excessively spending this moment in time.
Yeah.
So, yeah. What about you? What are your self-sabotaging characteristics?
I got too many. I think that's the issue, and that's the reason why I can poke fun at you, because it's like...
Start somewhere.
I'm the worst at it. So I am extremely self-critical, and I have a lot of big ideas and a lot of big dreams, but I never act on them because I'm self-critical, and I don't feel confident enough, which goes into last week's episode, which is like ironic and interesting. I don't feel like I'm intelligent enough, or I don't feel like I'm capable enough to do these things. I struggle from imposter syndrome really bad with everything. And that is like my biggest, the thing that hinders me the most in life. I self-sabotage when it comes to relationships, specifically romantic relationships. Friendships, I don't struggle with that with as much, but as we've addressed before, I have a hard time with friends in general, like, because I don't really, at this point in my life, I've struggled with seeing the need of having friends. So I'm slowly trying to build back platonic relationships because I think it's important.
Now you think it's important?
I think it's important now.
Okay.
But I also am in this weird place where it's like, technically no one needs friends. But I think that comes from like my trauma. And I also don't think that's a good thing for me to think. But it is unfortunately something that I think, and it is not good. And I have actively tried to like change it, but I think that goes back into like, that's the definition of self-sabotage. Me being like, I don't need no friends. Like, these motherfuckers be tripping. It's an extra relationship. I'm already an introvert. I don't want to be bothered, which is, if you would ask me like, do I know I'm self-sabotaging, and I say yes and no, you would be looking at me like, bitch, the answer is yes, because I'm aware that that's stupid. Like, it's not a good thing, even though I'm trying to like preserve myself and like not, or even try to preserve other people, is still not a good thing. But also too, like going back to like actual relationships, like romantic relationships, that is on top of the within myself, like self-sabotaging. Romantically, that's where it comes out the worst. And I think
worst
facts. I think that's where I typically get embarrassed with how I'm moving.
Do you feel like some of that is you feeling like maybe you don't deserve
100%.
love, or deserve somebody that wants you for real, or cares about you for real, or wants to see you happy?
Yeah, it's 100%. 100% is also my catchphrase on here. And just in life. Facts. Goofy. But yes. That is something that I am really bad with. I think it goes back into like the imposter syndrome. Like, I have this weird habit of not quite feeling like I deserve better things in life in general.
Yes.
Whether that be like love. And I've told myself like, I just don't give a fuck about love and like, you know, like the mushy, like, romance, like all the like old school movies and shit. Like I've told myself I don't identify with that.
Sure.
And I've perpetuated that. So it's very hard for me to see myself possibly being in that because I've told myself I don't identify with it.
I mean, I guess to a certain degree that makes sense because everybody loves differently and shows affection differently. So you don't have to be like the storybook, like, oh, honey, I love you, like every 5 seconds. But I think you should start reframing that in your mind and being like, okay, I'm worthy of love and I am worthy of affection. It might not be a kiss every 5 seconds, but maybe it's like, you know, y'all holding hands, y'all doing acts of kindness.
Service.
You know, doing things of that nature.
I think I show my love by being very attentive. And like I've learned that because you are a person that likes attention.
Not you laughing.
Well, because I'm not trying to come at you. I'm not trying to come for you.
I feel like you are laughing in my face.
No, I'm not trying to come at you. But I've learned that like you being my sister, that's something that I have to like give you. So I can just move easy with giving people like my undivided attention when I'm in their presence. But what I think fucks people up when it comes to me is like when I'm not in your presence, I don't really give too much
like,
attention at all.
Boyfriend who?
Yeah. And
friend who?
Right. And that fucks people's head up because it's like, how's this bitch so like personable and attentive whenever like we're around? Like I don't check my phones when I'm around people.
Yeah.
I'm like 100% like invested in them in the moment. But when I'm invested in myself, I'm completely invested in essentially criticizing the fuck out of myself and like beating myself down. But when I'm around other people, I like pour into them, probably not even too much. I think it's a good thing. I just need to start doing that more with myself. And
it just sounds like your downtime is not healthy downtime.
No, because I use it to like beat myself up. And I have
punching bag.
I have for my whole life. So I'm trying to like unlearn 27 years of like being mean as hell to myself.
Sure.
And I think I only really peeped that that's what was happening like pretty late in life because it was like, you know, when you're a teenager, people be like, you're just angsty. You're an angsty teenager. So I've always just been like, I'm an angsty ass person. But as I get older, I'm like, no, these are really like fucked up traits that I need to like get in order. And to an extent, they've benefited me in certain ways in my life.
Right.
Because I can be a perfectionist, even to like with this podcast. Like I did a really good job of learning how to like edit things and like do things pretty quickly. Right. Like even to like making the beat for this, I taught myself how to do that shit in like an hour.
Right.
So that's good. But also it took me, I wanted to do this for like years. Even to like making YouTube videos. I wanted to do that type of shit for years. And like I dibble dabble in it. I've done like made videos and then I hate it. Or I don't think it's as perfect as I want it to be. And then I'd be like, well, I feel like an imposter because I'm doing this thing and I'm not doing it very well. Or even too with like, I think about TikTok and how I had like a little tick for a second and it wasn't good because I didn't really flesh out my own ideas with that and I got like attacked for it. And then I was like, yeah, I'm going to give up social media. And I didn't go on any social media platform, including YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, nothing. I didn't go on anything for months, like close to like what, 6 months?
Yeah.
So,
but that's how you do things. You're a very extremist person.
Yeah.
Which I feel like you are trying to get out of that, which is great. But just because something doesn't work for you in the moment, you be like, fuck everything.
Because I feel like I'm not, I've told you this before, I feel like I'm not good at anything.
Which is a lie, people. She is great at everything she touches. It will turn to gold, not only because of, you know, her talent, but because she is, how do I put it, like a light of a person. So people are always going to be attracted to you in some way, shape, or form. But you just got to see that in yourself.
And I feel like now I'm at a point where I'm acknowledging that, like, crazy. That whole saying, you are your own worst enemy, is, like, true for me. Crazy as hell. Ha. So now I know that, and I'm like, all right, cool. I need to stop being this to myself, because when I see other people do that to other people, I'll be like, hey, don't do that. Like, that's not nice. Especially like when people make mistakes and people just be like, fuck that person, they ain't shit. Or like, that person need to be canceled, which is like, again, the reason why we're doing this. Cause like, I see all of those things where people get canceled or people get berated for like, you know, growing up or like being a product of trauma or just like being themselves or just being in society. Like, people are not going to be perfect. And sometimes you don't know what you're doing is right or wrong, or even like you don't fully know who the fuck you are yet.
Right.
And like, people will be like, we need to make their lives terrible.
Right.
What? Like, that don't really make sense to me. I don't agree with that at all. So with that, I don't agree with that within myself, and now I'm able to like call that. But again, it's really hard to stop. Like, I'm trying to stop, but remember, like, I asked you the other day, like, what's the different voices you hear in your head? Yeah. And you were like, I got the devil, I got the like angel, I got the like, bitch, you better. I didn't even use those words. You definitely said devil. That's the reason why I led with that one. But you got all these ones, and I was like, so I only have one. I don't really have like multiple. I have one that in so many words tells me that I'm doing everything wrong. You got the fucking a succubus. That's what you get. Well, that bitch needs to be fucking exercised, because I'm good on that. You are the exerciser. Get that motherfucker out of you. Shit, let me go run some miles then real quick. No. Not that type of exercise? Nope, spiritually. I'm trying. It's hard though. So I guess like I would ask, what do you feel like you can do in order to like maybe diffuse your self-sabotage or like overcome your self-sabotage or like, I don't know, maybe like make it subside it? I think I need to do something drastic. And I think going back to what I literally said about confidence last episode, I need to trust myself. And I think the only way I'm going to trust myself is if I do something drastic. Yeah, I know, I saw that, Matt. Is if I do something drastic and I'm okay. But in a way, I've felt like I've done things drastic. But if I really look at it, like all the things that I've done have been really calculated in my life, because I've planned out my life since I was a shorty for the most part. Like, I've outlined it. So at this point, I don't have a clear outline. So I'm like, ooh, shit, like I don't know what I'm doing. So let me just be safe. And I think the only way I'm going to be able to like stop beating myself up is to not be so calculated and to just let go and be a little bit more spontaneous with my life. Because like, not like even on a day-to-day, right? Because I know you'd be like, I'm not that spontaneous, but I can be. I like structure too. Like, I don't, on the everyday, right? Like, I go to yoga the same days at the same time. I have like date days, same time. I eat for the most part at the same time. I do my runs or work out at the same time. When I tend to my plants, I tend to my plants every Monday at the exact same time. I check them again on Wednesday. Like, I'm just inherently kind of structured in that way, which I think is like partially like my superpower. But I think when it comes to like my life, like in school, I was like, well, I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna go to Peace Corps, and then I'm gonna get my dream job. And then I'm gonna have like a nice ass cottage in the middle of nowhere. And then I'm just gonna ride out life after that. And like, I'm probably gonna like travel a little bit, but blah, blah. For the most part, I've done over half of the things on my list. Right. So now I'm in a place where it's like, ooh, I don't really have much more shit to put in there. So I don't know what I'm doing right now because Peace Corps didn't work out for me the way I wanted it to. But you still did it. Yeah, it's checked off. Get a cottage in the middle of nowhere. You what? You about to be 28 next week? In 2 weeks? Yeah. You have a lot of time left. True. Okay. I just don't think I know what I want to do. And I think a lot of that boils down to, like, again, that self-sabotage because, you know, like, it's so many things that I want to do. Uh-huh. So, and start marking them motherfuckers off. Like, I also do this thing where I be like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm trying to figure it out, bro. This is the episode I could go on and talk about because this is my expertise. Self-sabotage is something I'm very good at, unfortunately, but it's something that I know I want to fight because one, it's not good for your mental health at all. It's very taxing.
Right.
Two, it's not good for like your purpose in the world because to me, like, we exist for more than like making money or, you know, the day-to-day and all that shit. Like, I exist to have a story that people are like intertwined with or that I share that helps this whole thing function. Which, to an extent, like, this podcast is part of the reason why. That's the reason why this podcast was even, like, created, too. One, for us to be able to, like, become more vulnerable, become more talkative, and be able to, like, actually put ourselves out there. Because we're doing what we typically do. We don't do this shit with other people.
Correct.
So it's really awkward whenever, like, I'm editing, and it's like, okay, this video is going to go live at 2 a.m. on Wednesday, and then I'm like, ooh, it's up, and I hear like my boyfriend tell me about it, or like your like clients that you put on to it, like they tell you about it, and I'd be like, ooh, I said this shit that I feel awkward as hell about, and people heard it, but it's like, bitch, that's why you doing this. So like, you doing what it is you're supposed to do.
That's funny.
And even like right now, like I've told myself, like, after like last week's episode, because like I listened back to it and I'm like, I'm still not going there. Like, I'm still holding back from it. And it's like, how you trying to do this thing that you want to do and you still not going for it? So today I'm like, fuck it, I'll go for it. Yeah, I'll put myself out there, and if the worst thing that can happen is like people attack you for it, but like I've been through hella shit in my life, so
it's honestly like, fuck them people. That's number one. And like you said, you doing this to better yourself.
Also, like I said, bigger than that, I've been through hella shit. I don't really give a fuck.
Right.
What a person has to say, or like the whatever that is, because like I said at the beginning of this, it's all impact and intent over popularity. That's my main thing. I want to make an impact, and I know what my intention is, and if like nothing else, like, this concept of self-sabotage is something that I don't think I know a person who does not self-sabotage in one way or another.
Oh, of course.
And it hinders people really bad. And I think that people that can stop doing it typically flourish in life. Yeah. Because, like, life is not meant to inherently be hard. The concept of it is simple. We have feelings, which draw us to people. Then we build a life with people. And then we be cool. Like, we live in communities and we be cool. It be outliers that make life hard, but like, nevertheless, it's pretty simple. We all want to build community, be happy, and sustain our life.
I feel like people that don't necessarily self-sabotage are probably very self-absorbed people. Whenever I sit and think about like self-sabotage, I think that a lot of people are either reacting from a trauma response, like with the way in which you self-sabotage, you like beat yourself up. So you are very self-critical because you want to present yourself in a way that maybe is more likable, and that people that can relate to you a little bit more. So I just had a thought, like, I think the main people that don't really self-sabotage much and that is linked to success are probably self-absorbed people.
Or people that don't have that much trauma. I think there are some people that have a decent foundation who are a lot more secure. I think the people that are self-absorbed, they still in some way will fall down. That's just not the way. Like, I don't think humankind is inherently evil. So
of course,
every fucking thing comes to light at some point. Like, we see what's happening with Amber Heard and like the Johnny Depp situation. Like, I'm not in that relationship, but like 2 + 2 is not adding up to 4, so something is a little off with that situation. But I think that people that have a decent foundation, because I also know people that have, like, you know, they come from a decent like household. Nothing is perfect, but decent. They might have both of their parents who were like decent. Of course, that alarm is going off loud as hell. Welcome to Chicago. They might have had like a decent background in school, whatever it might be, and they don't self-sabotage as much as, like, you know what I'm saying, that like I do, or even like the ways in which you do, because we do it way too much. I don't think it's necessarily normal or healthy, and I think it does hinder us a lot. And I know people that self-sabotage every blue moon, like if they are going through like a breakup, it might like set them off to be weird as hell at their job, or like if they get a promotion that they don't think they deserve, it throws things off.
Right.
So yeah, I don't think it's inherently like if you don't self-sabotage, it's because you're a self-absorbed person.
I mean, just because you are self-absorbed don't mean you have to be an evil person. So I didn't say it in that regard, but I think there's a lot of self-absorbed people that have really good like people person skills and communication skills, and they have a decent amount of friends, but they're able to like retreat and withdraw and like go into themselves for them. And like people like us, we pour so much into other people, so we don't have those self-absorbed skills where we can
I don't think that's called self-absorbed. I think that's called low-key being like a well-rounded ass person. I don't think that's self-absorbed at all. I wish I had that. I think that shit is smart and a good trait.
Yeah.
Because if you seem like they're able to have friends and relationships, but when it's time for them to like prioritize themselves, they do. Bitch, that's called boundaries, and they got them pretty good.
Yes. I guess I said it in a way where it seems very negative, and being like called self-absorbed is viewed to be negative, but I didn't mean it in such a negative way where it's like they can't see anybody outside of themselves.
Got you.
So yeah, not saying like, oh, they can't focus on anybody but themselves. They just have a better understanding of how to take care of themselves over everybody else. Then when they have leftovers, pretty much, essentially, then they can like focus on, you know, the outside world. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I just meant it in a way where it's like they can focus on themselves, and like, you know, if they want to get that career or if they want to meet that goal, they focusing on whatever it is they trying to get to. Not like, oh, they don't give a fuck about nobody and they gonna step on, you know, any and everybody to get wherever they need to. So I still feel like it's like a self-absorbed characteristic, but I don't necessarily think having that characteristic mean you are evil, like a Dr. Evil, like you just only care about yourself. I think that just means like you have a decent amount of it to be able to focus on you whenever you need to.
Got you. Okay. I mean, if that's the case, I'm trying to be self-absorbed then.
I mean, we all need to have some of that in our being, because that's how we end up being like, well, I feel like I'm depleted of any and all energy that I have because I've given it to like everybody else and I have nothing for myself.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm trying to get to that point.
I mean, yeah. I think a lot of people are. And I don't think that we have been taught healthy balances from our parents of like literally everything. So like having some self-absorbed characteristics, being able to have the compassion to want to help people and like want to be there for people, but also, you know, having the balance of having a little bit too much confidence sometimes, but then also being very humble, but then also, you know, getting on your grind. Then also like, it's just like we don't have those healthy balances because based off of what our parents have been through, they didn't like take that time to like figure out, you know, what they needed to for themselves. So they start putting their like characteristics and their insecurities on their kids. So like our self-sabotage comes from the trauma that we've been through. So like me, for instance, like me wanting attention from men, that's a trauma response. And so I do it to my detriment.
Yeah.
The fact that I, you know, kind of overspend is because I felt like I was deprived of the things that I wanted and needed when I was a kid. So now I'm like, fuck it. If I want it, I'm getting it. Like my bills are paid and I'm gonna spend whatever it is to make me happy. But then sometimes it's like, but now I kind of wasted money for the now versus like saving money for my future. Right. So that's self-sabotage there. Mm-hmm. You know, yours, it comes from whatever trauma you've been through.
Girl, the same as yours, and right. We can pinpoint it.
It just looks different.
It came out different.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you trying to prevent yourself from continuing to self-sabotage? Or are you?
I definitely have been slowing down on my self-sabotage. I do feel like, you know, sometimes I do want to shop a little excessively. Mm-hmm. But I can tell myself now, like, you just need to chill out. Just sit on this purchase a little bit longer. Mm-hmm. Or, do you actually really need that? Do you actually really want that? Mm-hmm. And if it's a no, then I just don't get it. With engaging with men, it's like, do they really deserve my attention right now?
Yeah.
Probably not. Do I even want to waste my energy? And is this going to be fulfilling? Mm-hmm. It might be like a split second fulfillment. And then after that, I'm like, I'm just kind of annoyed.
Yeah.
But sometimes I might be like, yeah, I actually do want a little attention. I don't mind it. And mentally, I might be in a headspace to like be able to receive whatever it is that I'm getting.
That they have to offer.
Right.
Which a lot of times is nothing.
Right. But if I am in that headspace to like receive and be okay, then I think that's fine.
Yeah.
And the same thing with you, like maybe, you know, you can like get on yourself a little bit when it's like you need to get your shit together. But it's not healthy to be like doing that shit every damn day,
100%,
all day, and you are like crippling yourself from even doing anything.
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe it's like, nah, I actually don't need to be bothered with, you know, my boyfriend or my friends right now because I got shit to do. Versus like, I'm going to just sit my ass in the house and I'm going to be sitting in the room even though I could spend a little time with my friends or my boyfriend or, you know, my family. But...
Or I'm just going to go to yoga and come back.
Right. Versus like, I mean, you can do other shit.
A little razzle dazzle.
Just a little bit every blue moon. Mm-hmm. So, yes, I'm definitely trying to dial back and maybe change my self-sabotage into balance.
Yes.
And do things a little bit healthier versus like, I guess essentially like equivalent to like binge eating. Mm-hmm. Like, shopping, men, like whatever it is, like I'm just gonna go off the deep end.
Yeah.
So
everything in moderation, like you just said, is good.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. How about yourself?
How am I trying to stop it?
Yes.
I kind of hinted at it a little bit earlier. I think the main way is like keeping it a buck with myself, which is the reason why I'm holding both of us extremely accountable on this one, because I think that you and I have...
In this one regarding?
This episode.
Oh, okay.
I think you and I throughout our life have had a really bad habit of kind of what you said, sugarcoating it, and also too like what you just were saying earlier, where it's like, fuck it, like I'm gonna do this because, and then like insert a reason that's low-key bullshit, or going back to the like, do I self-sabotage? Yes and no. And it's like, I mean, or do I know I self-sabotage? Yes or no? And it's like, nah, it's yes. Like, and I think me being able to be honest with myself, like, no, this is something that I struggle with.
Sure.
And even too, like, acknowledging that, like, have I gone through trauma in my life, and how you and I have struggled our whole life being like, I ain't went through shit, like I'm strong as hell and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, girl, like that response is a sign that you done went through way too much. And even too, like, I think we talked about this, like going to college, I started to realize like, ooh,
yeah,
my situation is a little different from a lot of people's. So with that, being honest with what I'm doing and like actually trying to learn how to tap into my feelings, because I struggle with being numb and like not really understanding what feelings are within myself. So a lot of times it's like even you'll be like, you okay? And it's like, I mean, no, but like I'm cool. Right. And I don't really understand like what that means, where it's like I don't feel anything.
Or a lot of times you be like, And it's like, girl, now how long I known you? Stop playing with me. Stop lying.
But sometimes most of the time I don't even know what that means within myself. Yeah. So I'm trying to actively explore my emotions, and like, I would like if you could hold me accountable to this if I'm not actively stating what my emotions are. Like, maybe checking me on that, because that's something that I've started to do with you, and I try to do that with people in my life. But to be honest, I don't think I get that very much, like with me and like my different relationships in life, where it's like, which is I'll say this, it's no one's job to like pull things out of people. I don't think so, but I actively, try to do that, and I don't know if I always get that, but it also makes sense because people probably like, bitch, you always like going through something. So I get it to an extent.
I won't say that you always going through something, but when you do, you are very like, it's like you could feel it, like it's almost like you be doing like this, like, bitch, don't fucking touch me, and you just like shriveled in yourself. Because like, even me sometimes like trying to have a conversation with you, it's like, hello, like, are you here?
Which is like the reason why I think I segregate myself so much.
That's not necessarily, I get it, but it's also not necessarily a good thing to do. Yeah. Not only for you, but for that person, because people can be genuinely concerned about whatever state you in, and actually want to know like how you feeling, instead of you just being like, I'm good, or I don't know, but I'm just gonna go in my room and be by myself. Like, that's not fair to yourself, and it's not fair to people that give a fuck about you.
That's true.
So instead of you being like, I'm good, or no, but I'm fine, like, you could just talk through your thoughts, and your thoughts might turn into what you actually are feeling. And that's something like I've been like actively trying to do, and I've learned, and it's like, oh wait, I'm actually not just pissed off, like, this situation hurt my feelings.
You've gotten really good at that within the last few months too. And I think it's funny because I remember telling you like, this is something that you needed to do, and it's definitely like the pot calling the kettle black, because I'm not good at all with identifying my actual feelings or emotions about things. Yeah. And I've noticed that because I typically kind of just feel numb. Like, I don't really know how the fuck I feel. Yeah. So I'm trying to explore how I actually feel. And I'm trying to explore like expressing what's actually in my head, because I suffer or I struggle with being extremely embarrassed about everything. Yeah. Even too, like, this is probably gonna sound crazy, but like, all that we've talked about, I feel embarrassed right now. It doesn't make any sense. I'm aware, but it's something that I struggle with.
It's how you feel, so I'm definitely not gonna take that away from you. But it's like, you gotta figure out, why do you feel embarrassed? Like, do you feel like you're gonna be judged, or do you feel like nobody understands? Or
the reason why is because I'm not familiar with my feelings. So like, me talking, things will come out where it's like, what? And I feel strange because it's like, I don't know where that's coming from.
So maybe embarrassment is your secondary emotion, and like anger, I know, or anger, like annoyance, what's the
aggression?
Yeah. What's the other one?
What?
Where it's like, I can't remember the name, what I'm trying to say. But like, those are secondary emotions from me just being like, maybe I had no idea, and instead of just saying I don't know, I'm just like frustrated. Yeah. Or, maybe my feelings got hurt, so instead of me like telling somebody, hey, I actually just wanted to spend time with you and you hurt my feelings, I just got like really pissed off, or being standoffish. Yeah. So yeah, you just gotta figure out like what brought you to being numb, and in that moment of getting to being numb, like, what did you feel in that moment?
Yeah, and I'm definitely trying to locate that. Yeah. I think like whenever I group your like core feelings, it boils down to like I had said, kind of like aggression. Sure. And whenever I think about like my core feelings, I think it all boils down to like fear or like sadness. So I think embarrassment does fit into those very well, where it's like, I feel like embarrassed and now I'm kind of like in a sad place, or like I feel embarrassed and I'm very uncomfortable.
That makes sense.
So I'm peeping like what's going on within me. I'm just trying to get better at like identifying in specific moments like what I'm actually feeling, and also I'm trying to start to pinpoint what be going on, because sometimes it'd be like I don't even feel like nothing happened. Like I don't really understand like why I was cool and now I'm not.
Going through a lot of triggers and not even really understand that you're going through triggers.
I was kind of telling you the other day, I can identify that with you. Like I compete whenever like I'm
triggered.
You got just different things going on, or if you are not 100% sure of what you got going on and you talking, but what you saying is not adding up to what's happening.
Yeah.
So I think I said like I feel like you are a case study, but you are also helping me a lot with myself, because I'll see things and I'll be like, what? Right. Like you tripping. I don't even make any sense what you think you got going on.
Right.
But I do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think the difference between us, and I think that has to do with the fact that like my immediate feelings are not more so based in aggression, but more so based in like I need to make myself small because I feel stupid. Outside of you, I do a better job of people not knowing what's going on.
Right. Like
you be knowing, but the world typically don't really see me.
They're gonna know.
They never know. It only gets revealed whenever I get into a real relationship. And that's because it's only so much of hiding yourself before people be like, hey, bitch, you move a little weird.
Right.
And I'd be like, damn it, I'm found out. I need to hide myself. And now I'm going to critique this relationship because I'm exposed. And I become embarrassed. Yeah. Because it's like, now they know I'm not like this perfect, like mystical, like being. Because all of those, like, you know, pulling back does give me kind of like this mysterious air. Yeah. And even too, like being aloof, which ironically don't come from me being like cool. It comes from me being numb and not understanding who I am. So like I come off as cool, but what's really happening is like I just can't be bothered with feeling.
Right.
So relationships typically like expose me, and then I'd be like, I don't really like this. How am I gonna get out of this situation? I don't want to be dealing with this no more.
This person, let's just say they looked at me wrong. We'll go with that.
Facts. I'd be like, nah.
Jay, I think this is over.
And you be looking at me like, how the hell you be bouncing from relationship to relationship? And I'd be like, I don't know, but I'm finna get out of this one. And I can say that like my current relationship has taught me a lot about myself and a lot about how relationships should be, because I've been exposed to like people that also were like traumatized and fucked up and just like a mess themselves. And I'm finally dealing with a person that's like pretty secure in their like emotions, and pretty secure in their verbalization of their emotion, to the point of like me struggling with that, because I'd be like, okay, like I don't really know what to do with this. Like,
right.
It's just a Wednesday afternoon. Like, what we got going on? I'm not trying to talk about all of these things. I'm just chilling.
Right.
But I'm seeing like, for the first time, I'm seeing a person that's secure in these things. I've never seen this before. I think me and all these other people are tripping.
Yes.
Because if this person's able to do this, and then I'm seeing like, you know, my boyfriend's like friends, and like people that he surrounds himself around do the same thing.
Yep.
And they all in successful relationships, and like they all, you know, have gone through things in life.
Yeah.
So,
but they not letting it hold them back from like having successful relationships,
being successful in life in general.
Yep.
And I'm like,
just communication.
Yeah, I'm like, so I think I move mad weird, and I'm trying to get that in order, because it's easy for me to like point fingers at like, you know, my exes who definitely move weird. I'm not gonna take that away from them or me in those moments. Right. But I'm seeing that like, yeah, it's not just other people, it's me too. And with that being said, I know the things that I've seen people in my lives, whether that be ex-partners or ex-friends, how they do shit like really weird and like problematic.
Yep.
I need to get that in order within myself as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to put this person who's really secure through that, and then, even though he's definitely not going to perpetuate it, because this is not his first rodeo with that, like, with, like,
crazy bitches?
Yeah.
Just say that.
Exactly. So, it's teaching me a lot. And I want to be better because I see that, like, there are people out there who, like, are better. And those are people that I want to be around. And they deserve to be with a better version of me, as do I deserve that, and as do you deserve that. And you and I both teach each other a lot, and there are a lot of things that like I evolve to quicker than you do, and I'll be looking at you like, get there, and you be like, ooh. And then like same thing with you, like even me being like, you need to get your like aggression in order, and then you was like, I don't want to. And then like the next month you started already working on it after you was like, bitch, this is just who I am. Bitch, this is just who I am. Bitch, I'm from Chicago, this is just who I am.
I mean, that was part of my aggression. Like I was triggered. You triggered me. You made me feel, maybe I felt like a little...
You felt exposed.
Right. And I was like, oh no, she didn't. Let me close my road. But
you started working on it immediately, and now like I think it's harder for people to be like, Shay, you need to get this in order, because I don't really be actively, it doesn't really affect other people that much unless they love me, versus like aggression, it affects everybody.
Sure.
So mine really only affects people that know me. People that don't, again, like I exist in the world very well. People don't really
people want to get to know you, so it does affect them, because it's like, you trying to get a little too close, like back the fuck back.
Yeah, I be eyes on the people.
Right. So it does affect a lot of people too.
Not nearly as much as aggression does, though.
Hey, okay.
I'm not coming at you, but the point that I'm trying to make is don't be asking me no questions. I'm not trying to come at you, but I'm saying like I'm able to get away with it a lot more.
Sure.
So with that being the case, seeing you work on it and seeing you getting better and better and better and better every day, and I'm like, you know, I'm wondering, why do I kind of feel like a low level of depression all the time, or why do I prevent myself from doing stuff, or why am I so confused? And I'm realizing like, ooh, it's probably because I need to get this like self-sabotage and like this self-doubt shit in order. And I'm like, oh, that kind of remind me of how I was telling Jay she need to get her like aggression in order. So like maybe I need to like start working on that, because I see the strides that you're making in your life, and I'm just in this bitch like getting sadder and sadder.
Yeah, and people are like, they approach me a little bit more. People are more like willing to have a conversation with me. So I mean, it's definitely worked, and I don't feel like most mornings.
Yeah.
So it's worked not only for me, but for like people that want to engage in me and with me.
It's helped me a lot, like even interacting with you too.
Aww.
You've come like a long ass way, and I think this has been something you've been working on since like what, October or November?
Probably a little bit longer. It just maybe took a long time.
I think that's whenever like I brought it to your attention. It was when we were in here, when you got back from vacation. I remember that. So it hasn't, you might have been working on different things within that, but when this was first called to attention, like just then, so and like interacting with you has been easier. You've been doing a lot of things for yourself to make you not be as like combative. And it's not even necessarily combative with me, but you know, it could just be awkward seeing people interact with the world in a way, because you be like, I mean, I love this person, but like, you need to chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
And
or it's not like how their real characteristics are.
Yeah, and it's like uncomfortable, because like I'm gonna ride with you forever, but it'll be times where it's like I gotta pull you aside and be like, you dead ass wrong, bro. Like, you need to chill.
Right.
And I can only imagine, you know, how I'm doing that with people around me.
Yeah.
And I know that feeling, being that I've not only dealt with it with you, but like with our parents who actively choose to not better themselves and like actively are okay with like perpetuating like mad weird behaviors, right?
Yeah.
So it's something that I need to like be better with, because it's a little weird to like figure this out, how to be like not so much of a recluse and like not so self abusive.
Sabotage.
It's hard to figure that out because I don't think it's as easy as being like you need to get your anger in order or you need to like become more motivated. But maybe that's because those are things that are easier for me.
You
like,
can identify like aggression a little bit easier, or you're not inherently an aggressive person.
Yeah.
Therefore, you like, I mean, that's easy for me versus like, I just don't know, like, because it doesn't come easy for you. But
everything in life, for the most part, comes easy for me except this one thing. So I'm very confused.
Well, guess what? I'm your accountability partner.
Yikes. All right, y'all. We got to go.
Oh, what?
I'm finna go to my room and edit this podcast.
No, you're not.
Damn it, I already said I'm not really editing it.
You
but
did.
We do gotta go because we at the hour mark and I gotta add the intro and the outro, and I'm not gonna give y'all a teaser. But I might record this or might upload this video.
Oh,
with
okay.
it too. Fuck it. Why not? Why edit it?
Hey, do whatever it is that you want to do.
Y'all can go on YouTube and find the video.
Yes.
This will be the first one. I got another video on the account. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I'll add the other shit in the intro and the outro. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
I ain't even kidding for real.
What?
I'm fucking up. Bye.
Look at you nervous now.
I'm nervous. And this is gonna die.